Good evening, everybody. Here we are. What day is today, guys? January 11th of 2023. As per course, the year is pretty wild already, and it's only 11 days in, right? Okay. That said, did you check the volume and everything on this phone? Yeah. Make sure everything's kosher? All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so hey everybody, it's time for our live talk forum with Lynn Rene MacDonald, here from Virginia Beach, Virginia, and we're coming to you live from the Copper Dragon and the Institute for Christ Consciousness. And as I said before a few minutes ago, it's been a wild year already. It's only 11 days in and it's pretty wild. And tonight we have our live talk forum show. As most of you know, it's done on donation, as we always talk about. However you can donate, please do. Whether you come to the shop, give financially, give, food-wise, any way that you can give, or share what we do, with the people. Come down here and, come and shop at our shop. However you want to give, you can. So tonight's show, and we're super grateful, and thank you to everybody who does give. Thank you, and thanks for supporting us, being on our show. You can share our show on Facebook, as we talk about every week. So we are here together live every 7:15 is our live talk forum. This is where we get the questions, where we balance, and the God's honest truth of the answers, and to work with God, and how to work with God, or how to work with love in the purest form, via Earth World, here in Earth World dimension, and all the magic of God, and balance these energies, universal law, and Saturn's Earth World, as well as metaphysically with God and all that is love. Okay, so I see all you guys coming on. Hey, I'm going to have Rachel and Jen, my faithful, so wild. The energies that are coming in are wild right now. My faithful people, right? Crazy world. So I have lots to share with you tonight. Huge metaphysical breakthroughs having to do with everything, with ancestral healing, this Cancer moon, this Capricorn time frame, Cancer moon, Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde. All right, so these energies in astrology, and all that is in the astrology and the now and the stars is profound. Right? Profound stuff. And I've been doing master healing classes that have been crazy this week, that are going to go on for the next several weeks. If you can do them, do them. It's an amazing gift from the universe, okay? And if you don't do them with me, start looking into ancestral healing on yourself, because this is profound. The stories that I'm going to talk to you guys about today are like super incredible, with what I'm going to say, the metaphysics of it all, because it's pretty wild. The higher you vibrate, or the more advanced you are in the path, meaning the older the soul, the more enlightened you become, the more lifetimes you have, the more wild, it's almost like the more wild the ride, right? But each one of us picks and chooses our journey at whatever space of God we're in. There's nothing, no one or nothing is better than anybody else. It's all the same. It is all love. There are spaces that are healthier and spaces that are not so healthy, right? But it is all part of our journey. And those that are in spaces that seem to be healthier than others, right? That's been part of your journey, and it just means that you've done the work in that space, right? So you're in a different space. That doesn't make you better, but that's part of the gifts and tools that allows each one of us to help each other. But we all learn from all that is God at whatever levels we are at. Information and wisdom comes in from people that are whatever vibration they are, to whatever vibration, high, low, all over. And nothing is about a statement of it being good or bad, really. It is about what is the best and healthiest space of love. And these are all different vibrations of love that we're talking about. This said, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we've been going through profound healing sessions on Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock, or not Wednesday evenings, on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. Incredible work we're doing. And there is a whole story, and it is like, and the whole story of, since you guys have known me here on our lives, right? It is the whole story that has evolved since we started doing our lives over a year or so ago, last August, when we started them during, what is that, Lionsgate? I think it was Lionsgate. It was Lionsgate. Oh. Yeah, that we started doing them, not this past August, but the August before. So my whole life journey from that point on, and that of my family, and everything that I've been through and before is going to piece together everything that has happened in my earth world reality that universe has guided me to show you the truth, the God's honest truth, right? About why I'm doing this ancestral healing and what the story is behind it. It's fascinating. I'm still wrapping my head around it, so I'm very emotional about it, so I may cry, right? You know, as a Capricorn moon, it is hard for me to cry, and it's hard for me to cry in public, and it's hard for me to be emotional in public. It's one of my challenges, but this is all part of the stuff that I'm healing. I am emotional, but I don't like to I don't like to be vulnerable, right? That's natural for a Capricorn moon, right? But that's why Capricorn moon is one of the most challenging, is because, right, people think that Capricorn moons don't feel, but they do. They feel so deep that it makes them uncomfortable to share their feelings. And this is in all Capricorn energy. So some of us have this somewhere in all that we are. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about this story, but I wanted to, before I get really wild and into it, because you know that's going to happen. It can't not, because it's just fucking fascinating. All right, the work that we do is fascinating, and everything, God, is fascinating, and all our lives are fascinating. We're fascinating energies, and we're all of the stars. We truly are. And so this said, we're going to get into that in a few minutes on tonight's live show. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I do want to say hi to everybody. I want to answer everybody's questions from last week and weeks before, if we have any. And then we're going to get to the bottom of this crazy, incredible stuff. But if you can do the energy sessions with us, you can call in on your phone. I have about several people from all over the country calling in on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. They go for about an hour, but I also explain to you all about it, how it works, or what's the logic behind it, and normally these energy sessions are $300 and they're $100. And there's going to be a series of, already there was 9 of them. There's 9 total. The universe guides me to why, because 9 is the number of endings. 8 is transformation. Originally there was 8, then it moved to 9, right? So if you can do the sessions and it's in your budget, do them with us. If you can't, we'll work something out with you. That's what we do. We do our best to help people, whether it's through donations, through energy work, and when you can, because if you do the work that we teach, there's no way you're going to be in a less than space. So at some point you will have the money to pay for the energy sessions or pay for whatever it is that you need in huge abundance, because that's how it really works. People think spiritual people have no money. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. As you work on this path, it doesn't mean that there aren't times that you don't have challenges. You absolutely do. We all do, right? And we're all going through it, especially financially in these times with Uranus and Taurus and everything that's going on in the world, and they're squeezing us for everything, trying to destroy the world, make people slaves, kill the people, all kinds of crazy shit. I don't got to tell you, 2023, the wild is here, the darkness is here, and the shit is hitting the fan everywhere I go, in my own personal life, everywhere out here with other people. But the key here is to be talking to God, talking with love, working with love, always in alignment with that space of love. And if you don't know how to do that, that's what our YouTube's about. That's what the show is about. Love, working with love all the time. Hey, everybody, I see you guys coming on here. Thank you so much. All right, it's quiet night tonight in our live audience. I feel like everybody's wiped out from the holidays, so thanks for coming. All of this said, I'm going to ask Rachel, who's here tonight?
We have Angela Pearl.
Hey, Angela, thanks for coming.
Sarah Andrews and Sarah Sutra.
All right, 2 Sarahs, thank you.
We have Kathy and Steve and Nikki Opper.
Okay, hey guys, great. Glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, and I got Jennifer to my right. I got Rachel to my left. It might be the opposite here on the screen. I'm not exactly sure. So I hope you guys all had great holidays. You're all probably unwinding down. Thank you all for coming. And hey, everybody. Hey, Steve, I see you there, just so you know. Okay, all this said, we're going to move on to our questions that we've had from the last few weeks. As many of you already know, we answer your questions here. Anything you want to know, God's honest truth of everything. We get our answers from the stars. That's what we do and teach. We are no more special than you are. We just teach this, working with God, working with love, working with all that is universal love, and anything I can do, you can do, right? And that's what we do and teach. So that's where our answers come from. Okay. Hi, Sophia.
Hey.
Thanks for coming, girl. Come on in and have a seat. Sophie is here in our live audience. Okay, so let's start. Rachel, are you doing questions, or is Jen? Jen, you want to start?
Sure. Andrew's not here, so we'll start with Sarah Sutra. people might get angry when they can't get cash that they put out that they put in the bank out. What do you think people will do when that happens? Sounds scary, she said.
All right. So I believe Sarah Sutra is asking a question. Is she here? Hi, Sarah. If you're here, thanks for coming. And thanks for the thing you sent me on personal messenger. Awesome. Sarah sent me a little video about, I think it was a news channel in Connecticut, talking about what is really happening with the vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines, and the, what do they call it, myocarditis and all of that. And so there was actual on mainstream news that Sarah sent me on personal messenger. If you guys have anything to send to me, please do. I get all kinds of information and I weed it out with God, what to share, what's not, what's the truth, what's coming, the whole 9 yards. And so please share. And I just want to thank you, Sarah, for that, for all of us, because it's important that people start to get to see the truth. And this shit is going to be going on now because the truth is being exposed. It's being uncovered and people are getting pissed off, and 2023 is going to be wild. You're going to see some incredible, amazing things, amazing people, amazing events, amazing battles. But as things get out of hand, there's going to be black flag, what you call black flag events, right? Some pretty big detrimental shit, and it's all designed to try to manipulate and control the people, to get you in a fear mode, because the more you're afraid, the more they can control you. If you're not afraid and you say fuck this, then it doesn't happen. Do you see? So follow your heart, be guided by God. If you get afraid, ask love to clear it, ask love to heal it. But it's going to be some wild shit going on this year. All right, we've already talked about the breakdowns of the banks, or the new financial credit score financial system. Universe had told me it feels like it's coming really strongly in June. I had some other validation from other people on videos saying that. Some people say other things, so there may be different trials of it and all kinds of really jacked up stuff. But again, remember, all the things that are going on are designed to put you guys in fear mode, and all of us in fear mode, so that they can what? Control us. And the more the people are going to stand up, because this is Neptune going into from Pisces into Aquarius, right? People say to me, we're already in the age of Aquarius. Well, let me tell you the truth about that. We are in the age of Aquarius, but here's the deal. The age of Aquarius, just like everything Saturn and Capricorn, takes time. And the age of Aquarius, we are into it, but we are not truly in it. Okay, so we're still cusping Pisces and Aquarius energy. So this is the age of Aquarius. So like when I say, I put an ad out on Facebook and somebody was like, oh, you can't, we're already in the age of Aquarius. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but I'm not going to get into it with this guy about all of this. So I just thought I would discuss it with you guys, because we are moving into the age of Aquarius, right? And it is about love, truly. Once people get their heads out of their ass, or the darkness gets its head out of its ass, or we take care of that, however way, from universe guided by love, it shall be done. Okay, so but it's a process, and everything takes time, and we're going through this process, right, with this Pisces energy, Mars and Pisces going into is it Mars and Pisces? It's Neptune and Pisces going into Mars, which is going to really, or not into Mars, but into Aries, and that's really going to be burning the illusions off of the bullshit. So people are already waking up and starting to see these things here in Earth World, the toxic, the shit that's really going on. And we're going to talk more about it too in our shows, but this has everything to do with Sarah's question about what's going on in the world, right? And what's going to happen into the future, as and when and if. It's not really a question of if, it's more a question of when the banks collapse. All right. So one of the things that universe guided me to and showed me some information from somebody's channel and bits and pieces, because what happens is universe sends me massive amounts of information from everybody, and anything that I feel truth of God in my heart that they guide me to share, right, on multiple levels, whether it's for the future, whether it's for the now, whether it's literal, or all the different layers of God. There is the God's honest truth, absolutely 110% in it, and I am meant to share it, right? What happened is, I think there was some gentleman, I can't remember what show it was on or what channel, but it came across my feed. And I believe that he said like 30% of the people, and this is what makes people like us really frustrated with the people that can't get it. 30% of the people are living and can't see it. They're living in that Pisces fog, and they can't see it, and they're out here in Earth World. So 30%, think about this, 30% of the people has no clue, is living in the old world, and is going to be shocked the living shit out out of when all these changes really start to come to fruition or manifestation in this reality, right? All of us, you're going to get food, you're going to get water, you're going to get protection, whatever it is that you need, and community, and most important, gold, silver, cash on hand, right? We've talked about all of these things, but most important out of all of this is what we do here. Most important, God connection, right? It's not the old world prayer. It is really the old world prayer from the beginning of time before religion got a hold of it. Now it's a whole new world, right? As you grow and learn spiritually, you understand that it's ask and you shall receive, the Christ formula, right? Highest end consciousness, ask and you shall receive. With these gifts, you will be able to protect yourself. You know when to leave, what to do, how to do, where to hide your shit, where not to hide your shit, when to move your shit, what to do, what people to contact, who you can trust, who you don't feel good about, what you're going to do for a job, where you're going to get money from. Everything that you need, food, water, everything, will be supplied to you, guided via universe, God, love. Ask and you shall receive with everything. You're worried that you're not safe? You pray on it, right? All right. So this is really, how do you pray on it? Thanks God, Jesus, take the wheel. Free me from any unwell out there now, please. Keep my whole family safe, right? Because these times have a propensity, right, for wild shit to happen. And this 2023 is really, if you think about it, just the beginning as things are going to unfold and this reality starts to fall to shit, or starts to crumble. It has already been crumbling and everything is just an illusion. And 30% of the people are just like this. Yeah, I'm not looking at that. They're saying, I'm not looking at that, right? So they're not seeing it. And this is 30% of the people. The other 30% are terrified, scared, don't know what the fuck to do. And rightfully so. I was thinking about this when all this shit first happened and I thought, oh my God. Right? I thought, where the fuck are we going to go that we're safe with all this crazy surveillance and all this crazy shit going on in the world? There is no place that is safe, right? Because your safety is in here. Your sanctity, your home, your peace of mind is in your heart. It is in your soul. It is through your connection with God, because you can't run anywhere really out here in Earth world. So everything we teach here is where you're going to find your home, and everything that's going to sustain you through no matter what the fuck happens out here, right? Plus all the things that we talked about in Earth world, we balance these things guided by love, right? So we trust universe and we also build community. This is what we're doing here right now. You don't have something, you need something, we be there for each other. We'll figure it out. You can't get in touch with me. You can't get in touch with one of our people from our community or somewhere. You ask God that you can. That's why this is so important. You may feel lost. Who knows? Anything can happen. You may not have a place to live, a place to stay. You ask God for those things and they will come to you. In other words, it will manifest in this reality. Bless you. Must you disturb the show? Must you?
Shanty.
Just messing. All right. So, but this all has to do with what Angela Pearl is asking about. So 30% of people pretty much is what the statistics were, the guy was generally saying. And it felt right to me, and this is why I'm sharing this to you. And then the other 30% doesn't know what the fuck, right? And they're kind of in the dark, but they're kind of preparing, but they're really not. So we have a whole 60% of people that are going to be a fuck storm mess when any kind of big cataclysmic event like can't get to the banks close down, there's all zeros in your accounts, you don't have any cash, you don't have any gold, you don't have any money, you don't have any food because you didn't prepare, or you don't have any electric, and it's fucking freezing out, and you don't have any firewood, and you don't have anything. Right? All right. This is what I'm talking about. So people are going to be losing your shit. So protection is key here, but your greatest protection is through God. It is through love. It is through everything higher knowing of love of God. You need help, you ask for assistance. Ask and you shall receive. It's the Christ formula. That's why what we do is so important. So important. It is the number one thing that you need in this reality, right? Because in that moment when you don't have food, or you're scared and you forgot, or those people didn't do the things, God is going to show you what to do, when to do, how to do, and what not to do. And or bring you the people, because all you have to do is ask. You don't have to figure it out. You just ask. Universe will bring you. All right. Say, who should I ask? And then suddenly somebody's name will pop in our head, or in your head, and you'll know. And then all of a sudden you'll have everything you need for you, your family, everything. All right. So this is a mainstream, huge, why this is so important. And it is truly the battle of dark and light. But this isn't to scare you, all right? There will be difficult times, but as long as you have God and love, no matter what you got to go through, you will get through it, and you will come up on top as long as your heart is in the right space, right? We talk about this throughout all of our shows, right? And through everything and in everything we do. Your heart's in the right space. You're doing your best to do the right thing from love. And if you don't know what that is, you ask God that you do. And if you don't know how to do it, you ask God that you do. And ask the universe to do it through you and with you from your heart, truly. Clear your blocks and that you're happy no matter what happens. And watch what happens. Okay? And you can practice this every day now to prepare you for anything that comes out here. And I suggest you do, right? If you don't employ these tools and techniques, really, truly, you're a fool. It's about you being able to help you. And if you can't get back to those, and you can't get past those blocks in you, you ask God that you can. Because everything is you are able to do with love. Ask universe, you clear your blocks. Ask God that you are happy. Ask love. All the answers are right there. So Sarasutra, these people, these 60% of people, right? And then there's going to be the other 40% of the people that are more in alignment with like us, a lot of the patriot people, even if you are like religious, it doesn't matter. What spirituality you are, it doesn't matter. As long as you are in your heart with love, you are super connected. And as things unfold, just like the JFK shooting way back in Dallas, people knew the president was going to die before it happened. They just fucking knew. The psychic energy was all throughout it. God energy all throughout it. Everybody knew JFK was going to die that afternoon. They knew. If you asked the people, they knew, right? So it's the same kind of thing. You will know when the trouble is coming. You will know. And if you don't think that you will know, you ask God that you do. And then one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to go out today, or I think I need to get gold today, or I think I better stock up on water today. That's your subconscious soul telling you everything you need, and you don't not listen. I can tell you throughout my whole life, anytime I didn't listen to God or love when I was supposed to do something, it kicked my fucking ass. Across the football field, right? Multiple times, depending on the level or space of love I was in, right? My greatest learning is when universe guides me to do something. They don't tell me. In other words, it's not like I'm telling you, you have to do this. Really, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. But you will learn through your experience of Earth world what works and what doesn't. And the shit that we do here works like nothing else on the planet. End of story. End of story. So you ask God, you ask love, and you will see that. And the more you do this, the more it happens, the more you do it, because you're like, whoa, this is pretty cool magic. Because really, it is, right? So we listen to universe all the time because the universe, God, love will tell you always, no matter what, you'll wake up and you will know. And if you don't know, or you're afraid that it's not going to happen and you're going to miss the message, you ask God that you don't. You ask God to get the message. You ask God to hear the message. You ask God to get it without a doubt. Clear your blocks that stop that from happening, and that you truly know. Days before anything cataclysmic or whatever it is that you need to get done gets done, so it can happen and you can get the message, so you are super prepared no matter what. Thank you, God, for that, for all of us, from love, in abundance, in the purest form of love, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that, for us. Okay, so Sarah's talking, like I said, for like the 90th time, because we've gone in all these directions, which all pertains to this for everybody here. And for all of us in the whole world, because anything we do here is for everybody, okay? So even the people who, no matter what religion you are, it's about love, it's about being in your heart, and none of that shit really matters. What it comes right down to, it is purity of heart. There are plenty of spiritual people who are fucking dark as fuck. I can tell you this, it's been part of my journey, all right? For sure. And, I don't associate with most of them anymore, and a lot has happened since then, but it's years ago, and that's okay, all right? That's part of the grand design of God, as well as my learning for me to be the best me I can be, and to clear out my stuff, and to see the God's honest truth, and much more than that going on into my journey into the future, as our souls are always working on us. All part of that journey. Okay, so bringing us back to Sarah's question, let me see here. So when the banks close down, there's still 40% of people who are like us, who will know what's going on, who will be prepared. But the issue with that is, what happens when people can't eat, when people don't have a house, when people don't have their needs met, when people are afraid, or their kids can't get food? Anyone know? Right? They freak the fuck out. That's right. Yeah. Because they're scared. and they don't have what they need. They can't get their money out of the banks. So there's going to be a lot of violence. There's going to be a lot of crimes, especially look for this shit in inner cities. There's going to be a lot of toxic gang stuff kind of thing. There's a potential to be all of that, right? So the law enforcement and the National Guard and whatever they end up sending here to try to get a handle on this that they created, right? And they're gonna, it's gonna be pretty wild, or it has a propensity to be pretty wild. So, and that's really what's gonna happen. People are gonna freak the fuck out. But here's the other side of that coin. They're gonna try to break in spaces, people's houses, and take shit from people who have shit that they do not, right? And that's just the nature of the toxic of human nature. This is why talking with God, because, like I've seen some people who I really like Jeremiah Babe, and he gets out there and he puts, and I like a lot of his stuff, there's truth in it, just like Greg Manarino, there's truth in everything. Lynette, Zhang, right? Truth in her stuff, right? Rick Rule. We've talked about a lot of these people, right? These energies come in. Daniela Camboni, she does a show too, financially, and they talk about a lot of different things, right? That universe has guided us to, right? So all of these people are on these shows and they talk about all these things and what's coming, and you'll see bits and pieces of the truth in all of this. All right. So what really happens is this shit hits the fan, so, the people who are in alignment with love or God, like Jeremiah Babe says, he says God, and he says also, he also touts protection is huge, because if you can't protect yourself, right, then you're screwed, because they're just going to beat the shit out of you and take your money or knock you down, bash in your house, take whatever you have. But you see, if you have God, you can protect yourself through these avenues, right? But, you must do your spiritual work. In other words, you can't be saying I used to do when I was a kid, before I was really consciously on this train. I used to be like, God, please don't let my grandma die. I'm going to be a good person now. I'm truly going to try to be a good person now. And I'm going to change all these bad things. We've all been there and we all know about that, right? When I used to do the Hail Mary and believe in those avenues religiously through what I was taught when I was a child. And I can tell you straight up, that never changed a fucking thing, right? Not really because it's bad. That energy goes to good things for sure, but it doesn't go in the way that you would think it would go, as much as if you work with God and you're authentic in your heart and you're not doing it as a last resort, because now you have to change because you've been toxic and you didn't give a shit about being toxic or unwell. And now today you have to change and be a better person to save your own ass. Do you know what I'm talking about? I go through this a lot with people every day. I'm like, yep, they lose their kid, right? Or they're going through a really bad crisis, or they're going to jail, or they're having IRS issues or debt issues and all this shit. And I look at them and I say, hey, this didn't happen because your heart was in the right space. This happened because you got shit going on there that needs to go, right? And if that shit doesn't go, it manifests out here in your health, in your physical reality. And sometimes for some souls with all this karma out here and karma that is, it gets pretty fucking toxic, right? All right. Well, I think I left my juice down there, didn't I? Did I bring my juice down there from down there? So. I think I did. Nah, you can just leave it. I could use some water. So just give me a second here. I'm going to get me some water. I left my mug down in the other space. Okay. So really, this is one of the most incredible things, because Jeremiah Babe, he'll say, oh yeah, you got to protect yourself, guns, weapons, training, physical health. Yeah, but it's a lot harder for people who are older, who bought into the old world beliefs of health and are trying to recuperate their health. Let's say it's people like us who were sick. Some of us who have become sick in the last year, or were sick, or are not in the best health, right? And this is part of our evolution and our growing, right? But not everybody is going to be in stellar physical shape. Not everybody is going to be able to do like Jeremiah Babe does, with his guns and all his shit. And great if you can. And if you can do training like that, fantastic. But your biggest tool of self-protection is God, or love itself, and your connection to that, and doing this work that I'm telling you, that I'm telling you here on our show. It behooves you to do. Okay. That said, so protection is key here, right? And how do you protect yourself? Well, you be wise. You put your shit where nobody else knows where it is, and how do you know where to hide your shit? You don't give it to somebody else to hide it. The biggest thing in these times is people will take your shit. All right. It's been that way since the beginning of time. You have to be very careful who you trust. right? Unfortunately, fortunately, it is that way. You talk to God. Where do I put my money? Where do I put my supplies? Give me the best setup, the best way to do everything that I'm doing from love so that I can retain all of my wealth, all of my value, and everything that I need to take care of myself and my family, as well as everybody who needs assistance that comes to me from love. Thanks God for that for me. So it's not just, it's always about me first in the healthiest, best way from love, but it's about me. It's about my family and having those needs met, because if there's no me, I can't help anybody, right? But it cannot be a toxic, ego, unwell space. It must come from the place of love within me. And if I have plenty, then then, and this is really the formula of the new world, right? The more I have, the more I'm going to share and help the people. I mean, we already do this, and God already takes care of us. We set the bar. Not meaning me and my business and my people. All of us set the bar for love and the right thing to do. But you don't give up your food if you got nothing for you. You ask love what to do. You ask love how to handle it. And it may be that you do in that moment, right? And it may be that you don't, but trust universe, because the universe is all that is God, and it knows infinite things that in that moment you are not privy to or you're not aware of, right? Yeah. Because that's how it works. So the more you work with love, and then you can go and you can say, well, why didn't I share my food? Well, it may turn out that 5 days later, that person secretly sends people to get into your house to break in. Do you see what I'm saying? And universe knew that was going to happen, and that's why you didn't share your food. Pretty wild shit, right? But the more you're in alignment with God, the more you're going to automatically know these things, the more you're going to feel these things. It is your moon sign. It is you. It is your true heart, soul, and self. So you will have all those tools by working with God. You'll have an inner knowing like never before in these times to protect you. And the new world is going to be about having beautiful, amazing, abundant things. And this is how you know people like Elon Musk and all the fucking Hollywood people and all the sports stars and the douchebag things that they're doing out there, right? Who have millions and billions of dollars that don't share with the people out here to help the people at all, but they want fans, but they're not helping fucking anybody. Nobody, right? Their actions tell you the truth about who they are, because the guy who really has millions and billions of dollars and gives a shit about the people is out there helping the people and is going to do it. Do you see? We set the example. We are those people. Ask and you shall receive, because it's coming. It's coming. Trust God. Whatever we ask universe for, it will be so. We clear our blocks from love and we start the world in a whole new direction. And we start at however small space of love we're in and however big we are. And however big God or universe creates with us in our souls, whatever our souls create with God and universe, we create the new world, right? But to see the interesting things like Elon Musk with billions of dollars, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, right? All the world rulers. Come on, man. These people are trying to destroy the people. They're trying to destroy everything. Why? It makes no sense. It's complete darkness, right? Even nature doesn't naturally go and destroy nature, which is all that is God, that is love, doesn't usually. Very rarely does it naturally just go out and kill fucking things. It kills to eat. It kills to survive. It kills to protect itself. It has all these things that are about the self, from love for the self, naturally. Right? Yeah. Pretty incredible shit. So God, universe, love shows you over and over in your reality all this incredible stuff through nature. Through nature. But you can see it in society. Who's dark, who's not, right? And what's going on. And people can always change. You always have the opportunity to change, right? Change everything about you. Get on a new path, right? Just like, and there's always that propaganda coming through, but more and more 2023, the truth is going to be coming through like nobody else's business. So, even so, there's going to be communities building up, that are going on. I know that there's a gentleman named GD, I think it's Blankenship. He has a Facebook page. I think he has a mountain, if I'm not mistaken. It's in Georgia. And he talks about people coming to live with him on his community. And there's other people who will be starting communities. I feel like we'll be doing that into the future. At this time, we got our own shit in our personal lives on our plate to really work out. We're trying to move and everything. And what do you call it? God's time. So if I don't have a house or I don't have a community and I don't have these things set up, there are other people who do. So look into these things. I know this this gentleman Blankenship, he's on Facebook as well. You can Google him and see if you're looking to get involved in, a safe space in their community. Again, you have to ask God and ask love, is this what's best for you? In time, I'd scoop you all up and take you all with me to, what do you call it? The best place to be from love in this world, right? Okay, because your home truly is in here. Universe will provide us out here. But right now, I'm doing massive healing in my soul. And this is why my home is not in the traditional way in Earth World. Until this home is healed, this one cannot solidify again in my Earth World reality. Crazy shit, right? That's how it works out. Incredible stuff. Okay, that said, Sarah, 40% of the people are going to know this stuff and they're going to be in alignment, but it's going to be wild. The police are going to have their hands full. It's, the police and whatever else they go on, there's a great propensity for this. America is really, it's going to take a long time for America to fall apart because it's got a lot of great things going for it. And out of all the countries, it's one of the best, even though they complain about the infrastructure and all this garbage and all this crap, that the darkness behind the president and the government has been destroying everything, hands down, everything that when we've talked about all this in all these, in all of it. So you have to pick and choose in your heart what is best for you, but see the truth. You don't see the truth, ask God for the God's honest truth, whoever you are and whatever it is that you want to know about. This is how we do the work that we do, because there's no sense in me teaching you bullshit because you're never going to believe me and you're going to be like, oh yeah, Lynn's fucked up, right? And even if you don't believe me literally in the traditional way that you might believe with Earth World and fact checkers, I really don't give a shit about that, because really your heart will tell you if what I teach is the truth, and you will know, especially if you are guided by love and in your heart, right? It means that you are a higher energy being and you fucking know, okay? So you know what I speak is truth. You wouldn't come on the show. You wouldn't listen. We wouldn't have a following. We wouldn't have any people. It wouldn't be happening. And they wouldn't be trying to shut me the fuck down like they're trying to shut everybody else that is against the narrative down, right? Mm-hmm. Truth be told. Right? Okay. So Sarah, that is really, it's going to be chaotic, right? But with the power of God and using your earth world tools, being guided by higher knowing, working with this higher knowing, all of us will be protected and we will be there for each other, just like, if you think about it, go back like the Civil War and you hear stories of like the Underground Railroad and how people got free and there were really difficult situations and things like that. And where there is God or there is love, there is a way. Right? So, just remember that, because you'll be fine no matter what the wildness, no matter what the wars, whatever, the Holocaust, whatever it is, because really this is the biggest Holocaust that ever was. It's to date in this, here in Earthworld. It truly is, it really is. And the crazy thing about it is, there's wars and takeovers and all that crazy shit, not to make them any less, whether it's, Julius Caesar or Marcus Aurelius or whatever the stuff, throughout history and throughout times and all the toxic, there's tons of toxic in the world. But this really, this takes the cake. And the sad part about this particular Holocaust is that when you think about it, there's so many people. It's not just that they're killing people and they're going to die, or that they're killing our family members. The sad part is that they're going to get really sick, or they're being really sick, or they're going to get really sick. Their family members have to endure this incredible sickness. And not saying that one thing is bad than the other, but this creates mad suffering. Suffering fucking sucks in a people space. You got to say to yourself, wow, it's one thing to line up people, and not saying that this is right, and line them up and shoot them, right? And murder them. That's one thing, right? And in that moment, sure, it's a toxic, miserable thing and you lose your family and it's upsetting. But there's some kind of really dark nasty that makes people want to suffer. Think about that. Or allows them to suffer. And don't think for a second that this darkness isn't doing this, because it is. The blessed ones are the ones who get the inoculation and cross over pretty quick. It's the ones that, it's all the other ones who, get it and then suffer all kinds of crazy, horrific things. I mean, you can see videos of this everywhere and out there, and truth be told, more and more of this stuff is going to be coming out. You're going to see it more in real time, in real life. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'm driving down the road and there's a car on the side of the road, and it's not on the side of the road. It's in the middle of the intersection. It just parked there, right? With flashing lights on. Nobody's in it. People passing out behind the wheel. Right? For like 20 minutes, hours, and cars just drive right by them. All kinds of crazy shit. People stopped in the middle of the road, like walking around like zombies. I shit you not. We've seen all of these things, have we not?
Yeah.
And at all hours of the day, right? I've had people go like 1 mile an hour in front of me many times. They don't know where they are. They don't know where they're going. It's incredible stuff, because this doesn't just affect you. This lizard serum doesn't just affect you in the physical. And, when you think about physical things like myocarditis and hearts and clotting and strokes and seizures, you're talking about cancers, and you're talking about autoimmune. You're talking about serious debilities in the immune system. And not only are you talking about that, but you're talking about in their immune system, you're talking about, let me just see here. Hold on a second. Stuff like diseases and things that aren't ever even heard of. Like, it's like we got to make up something new in the medical field here in Earthworld because we've never had this happen before. And it's all based in lies and crap and garbage, and you can't even get the help you need in the medical community traditionally. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But it is truth of God. If you go to the hospital and you're sick, you will see exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. This is all part of the darkness. This is some incredible darkness. That's why you can't give it an inch. That's why like I walk around and I like to look at people. I'm like, don't fucking do it. And my family is like, we're going to kill you, Lynn. I'm like, right? Because they know that I ain't got nothing. I got nothing left. Nothing for this darkness. And I know many of you feel like this. You know why that is? Why would that be? You know why, Sophia? Because you can't. You can't give a single piece of your heart to that kind of dark. Do you understand? You can't. None of us can. Not if we're going to what? Survive. Not if we're going to live. But you will know if they're in your hearts or not, or if they're changed or not, by what they do, how they acted. Most importantly, talking to God and how it what? Feels in your heart. So Sarah Sutra, it's going to be wild, but you have all the tools that you need, and everybody here does too for this journey. All right. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure we'll be at some point setting up a community, but everything in God's time. Right now, I got to take care of the home that I don't really have. The home that I have, but the home that's in my soul. And we'll talk about that in a little while. And I'm going to move on to another question. And if you guys have any questions about what we said, because this is all fantastic wisdom for these times, and to understand truly what we do and why we're doing this. Okay. All right. And even if the world was to get sunshine and flowers tomorrow and everything was great and it went to the greatest place of love, like we would wish and hope for in the age of Aquarius, right? Which, in its most divine space, right? Like the heavens, right? If that were to happen tomorrow, all these tools are still equally as great as effective. Yeah. Right. Whether it's the shit world or toxic darkness that we're fighting in this Armageddon, or tomorrow's flowers and roses, you have all the tools you need, no matter what comes and no matter what's in between that. Always. Okay. That said, who's next? Who's doing question?
Right? Andrew from last week.
Okay. Andrew Karate's here?
Yes.
All right. Hey, Andrew. Thanks for coming. All right.
Last week he was asking about a high school sweetheart he had who is an Aries. He said he's an Aquarius and that their two signs don't get along well, so the relationship didn't progress. And he's wondering if he did the right thing with this relationship, although he's happy and they are still friends.
Well, really, Andrew, the question is, why are you asking yourself this? All right. A lot of this is about healing these past feelings, wondering what if could have been something better. Right. So, and it has to do with the deficits that you have in your relationship now, whether you really realize them or address them or feel them or get them or understand them or not. There's needs in you that aren't being met. This is why we ask these questions. Oh, what if I was with Susan? Or what if it could have been different? Right. And that's not just you. That's everybody. Everybody has some of this. It's part of our earth world journey overall, and the collective, especially, always hoping for what is the saying, that the grass is greener on the other side, oh, what if it could have been better with this person or that person, right? So when you ask questions like this, that's one of the major things that's happening here. We're still not well in our souls or satisfied or content or truly happy with our partner. But we say this as being our partner because our partner that we are with reflects our wellness in our heart and our self-love space in us. So if we're not happy with us, we can never fucking truly be happy with our partner. It's impossible. Doesn't work that way. What?
That's just heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy. It is heavy, but it's truth of God regardless. And what do you come here for? Truth. Because if I don't tell you the truth, it's never going to change. Nobody can help you. And the same shit happens over and over. And every partner you have is a less than or somebody who wants to take advantage of you or be toxic with you. And it's the story of my life, really. I mean, how many fucking lovers can I have and that are fucking toxic? I'm like, stop. So like 20 years ago, I quit. And I shit you not, I pretty much quit. I dated somebody here and there. It's nothing. Because I'm not willing to ever settle. And until this work is done in here, I ask God for the best partner. Bring it to me, God, from love. When it is best for me, from love. And may I be the best partner for that person as well. Right? From love. Right? So Andrew, this is a story we all go through, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. Every single one of us. Right? So we're having deficits in our souls that reflect out here until this is healed. We can't have the healthiest, best relationship. And if you do work on you, your relationship has a propensity to get better as does everything in your life, meaning working with God, working with love, doing this work that we teach here. Okay? Praying on everything. In other words, asking universe for everything you need, not in the traditional old world religious way of prayer. Not that doesn't help, but there's far more effective way, and this is what we teach here, which was originally the OG prayer from the beginning of time, right? When man gets a hold of everything, watch out for that shit, okay? When it's pure of God and love, whole different story. The OG formula, right? Okay, so this said, this is what's going on. Okay. And, but also you're also doing some healing work. We've talked about this before. You're doing some healing work on you. You're growing, you're changing, your soul is reassessing. Well, could it have been different with this person? Could it have been different with that person? And, so your soul is saying, am I really happy? It's working stuff out. It's healing stuff. It's releasing stuff in reference to this person, this Aries person. This doesn't mean that you're going to break up with your lover. Your lover has the propensity or the, I don't know, what would the word be? Propensity, I guess, would be the opportunity to get it as well. If you're on the path, they have the opportunity, right, to open up and get it, and you can go down this road together. And then your relationship becomes truly that of the divine, right? But unless both ships are in the same waters, it won't happen. In other words, you got to both be in that space. You can talk to your person, your lover, your partner, and the more you work on you, you will change you will heal you, and you will either stay with that partner, and if they work on themselves in whatever way that they feel, you can do it together, you can do it separate, you can work with God the way that we teach here, or however you want to do it. We do counseling, life counseling here too. Anybody can do this stuff, right? Twin flames, soulmates, twin flame soulmate relationships, all kinds of whatever is going on in your relationships we address, okay? Because it's really, really about working together from love and learning the best tools and healing and clearing and changing the stuff in our souls that is toxic, that stops us from being able to be in the healthiest space of love. Because it is not our partners. When you say, I'm happy with my partner, it's not your partner that makes you happy. Your partner can be part of your happiness, but it can never be your happiness. Your happiness is in you. Same thing with me. So I got work to do on me. It's like been 20 fucking years since I had a partner. Okay, I'm starting to get a little hot with this. I mean, pissed off. I'm like, okay, God, okay, but I'm not really mad. Everything in God's time, but it's stuff for me to work on and change and clear and heal, because I know that I have a higher destiny, and this is what I'm really in love with. I'm in love with God itself. I know this. That's part of Libra. Libras are in love with love itself. Makes me want to vomit sometimes. However, truth be told, I'm in love with what I do, and that's part of my challenges too. I love my family, right? And I love what we do. I love all of this, right? So this takes precedence. If and when I have the best partner for me, Andrew, it will be somebody who complements this, who is in the game 110%, meaning in this, is all aboard. And we have the best, healthiest relationship where it's a balance in all ways from love. And how do we get that? By asking love for those things. So these are things for you to know and for stuff for you to work on and be wise to, and for all of us as well. And I'm still working on my shit. Like I said, it's been 21 years, or it's been a long ass time since I had a partner. And really, I'm okay with that. But that's what happens when you go down this path. You love yourself in the healthiest, happiest way, and a partner will walk in that's the best partner for you. You ask God for it, but it will come from the best space of love, and it will happen in the healthiest, best way when it is time. And all the other partners I've had before this that walked in, well, I wasn't ready to, it was just the next phase of me getting to a better space of me, a better space of me, a better space for me. So I just said, you know what? I think I'm just going to work on me, because I love so hard with everybody and everyone and all in my life, that when it doesn't work out, it can be crushing. And that's about attachments, right? It's one of my issues. Okay. I'm a Libra Scorpio. Okay. Scorpios are all about attachment. Ooh, right. So that's, in a toxic place, those are the things, attachments. That's also about the twin flame soulmate relationships. Those are bare of relationships. It's about attachments, letting go of attachments. I can love you, but I don't have to be married to you. You can be with other people. And I'm not saying that's the healthiest, best way, but that wouldn't even bother me. And I would love you because I love you. And that's it. But in the healthiest space of God, if we are in the healthiest, best relationship, you wouldn't want to be with anybody else, and neither would I. Right? But it doesn't bother me that my exes, who I still love, are on their 6 wives, right? Which, crazy shit, right? It's their shit though. It's not mine. And I can still love them, and I can still see the beautiful things in them. I mean, we have kids together, right? And there's a part of me that wishes it could have been different and that I could have loved them. That's my attachment shit. But it's really about my illusions. I'm attached to my illusions of what could have been. Oh my God, what could have been? Pisces and Venus, right? Or Venus and Pisces. Cancer, right? Venus in Cancer, right? Those Libra and Venus in Libra. Conjunct the Sun, I mean, you name it. Those are those placements in us that are all about that fantastic illusory relationship that isn't even fucking real. And that's the part that I tend to cry about more often than not, or want. Why can't I have a partner? Why can't I have somebody just love me? Right? But eventually, as you grow spiritually, you won't feel that way anymore. And you'll be able to, like I do, I can still love my baby's dads, and I'm okay that they're with other women and that they love them. But I know that it's not like what I had with them. And that's okay. It's okay. They know that too, but I don't even have to have that discussion. All I need to know is that I feel good about me, and whatever they do doesn't even bother me. They can call me up and be an asshole, and I'm like, okay, you done? Talk to you later when you can talk to me from love. Bye. And there's no strings attached. This is how you know. You don't sit there. You don't pine over them. You don't think about them. Yeah. I wish, every now and then I wish I had a great partner. And I wish sometimes when he comes back around and calls me up and says, what are you doing when he has too much to drink? I wish I could be with you when he has too much to drink. But that's telling you the truth of what's going on in his soul, right? Influenced by the almighty drug, alcohol, right? But these are those journeys and these things in life that lead us to the truths of God and the truth of everything. Doesn't mean I don't love these people. I choose not to be with these people because they're with their wives, and I'm happy that they have a partner. And like my ex used to say, there's somebody for everybody, which there is. But the question is, what kind of wellness is each individual in? Because, 99.9% of the time, you're not seeing the truth about any relationship out here. It's what they present to the world, in earth world, in their relationships. I have people say this all the time. Oh, they have the greatest partner, and that girl looks so hot on the internet, and if I could only be with her. Meanwhile, she isn't even a girl. She's a man. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she's 5 guys, and they're taking advantage of you while you, what is it? Google your eyes at this girl over here that you think you want to be with because she's so beautiful and she treats you like gold on the internet. But that's not fucking real, right? Happens more often than not. I could show you like 25 people on my Facebook page, a whole bunch of guys, right? Or fake guys, right? They're always wanting to friend me. And I'm sure all you people know about this. So be aware of this. And these times it's now more than ever. And they're trying to get in your accounts, trying to get you to send them money, all that shit. They go on my page even now and they're like, Lynn, you're so beautiful. I saw your show last night. Could you just be my friend? Can we talk on personal messenger? I'm like, I either just ignored her. I'm like, no, because I already know that the person is not real. A lot of times I'll call them on, hey, don't bother me. I'm busy. I said, what can I help you with spiritually? They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, because they have no idea. You saw my show. You know what I do. Fuck no. Right. And the truth of what people say and do tells you everything in Earth World. Right. So Andrew, a lot was said with all this, and for everybody with your relationships, so you can understand what is going on in these relationships. Yes, you're happy, but when you're the healthiest, best happy in the purest form of love, it's in a different space than where you're standing right now, but that's where you're growing to. And we all are. It's all part of our journey. Me too. Right. I got some shit going on. If I haven't had a partner or anybody I've been in a relationship, think about this, for like 15, 20 years, that's a long ass time. I'm focused on this, right? But I don't want to hurt. I'd rather do my spiritual work than go running off with somebody that I can have a fantastic night with. But maybe that's not a bad idea, since I can not be attached. just messing around. All right. But in my soul, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess with somebody else's feelings or be toxic in any way, shape, or form, because everything what goes around comes around. Right? Especially with souls like us who are higher in God, because universe in us we escape from nothing. not when it comes to universal law. And really, that's the truth of all of us, whether we realize it or not. Sometimes we get illusions about what we think is going on with people, and nothing is further from the truth. So if you're happy in your relationship, good. Keep working on it till you obtain that happiness, and at some point you won't be bothered worrying or thinking about other people. But again, also, you will be healing the stuff, releasing the stuff. I know that you're working on your stuff, so this is all working on changing that space in you. And so you will either have the best relationship with your wife coming, or your soul will bring in somebody new who will be in a healthier space for you. And your wife will not be left alone, so to speak. This would be the karma, if that was what to happen. The karmic agreement, so to speak. And universe takes care of everybody from love. God takes care of all of us at whatever space of God we are in. Always. So your wife will have probably a partner if she so chooses, as will you. If let's say you stay in these spaces or decide to split up or whatever, universe brings you to. So that's the truth about what's going on. Like I said, ask and you shall receive. But like my shaman used to say, she used to be like, be careful what you wish for, Lynn, because it will come true. And she's right. And very rarely is it in the way that you logically think here in Earth World. That's the ass kicker of all. It's usually very different, especially for high-end spiritual people and all spiritual people on the spiritual path, consciously, subconsciously. It's all part of your journey, depending on what you ask God for karmically and what your destiny is in this reality as well. Okay. All right. So thanks, Andrew. I think we might be talking tomorrow even. But thanks so much. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. All right. And this is great wisdom for everybody. Okay. What time are we at, people?
About 8:15.
8:15. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead.
We actually do not have any online questions at the moment.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
All right. So we finished up from last week. Anybody here have any questions? We'll give you a few minutes to answer questions. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to go into story time. Story time meaning me sharing with you wisdom of God, which I've learned and literally in my Earth World reality, and it's pretty wild shit. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes, take a few sips of my drink, and light some sage if you have any questions before we get into this, because this will probably take us till the end. And in the meantime, you can come up with some questions if you have any questions or need some wisdom, guidance, tools, gifts, anything you need or to know about here in Earth World with us and universe or God or love. Okay, so you can ask those questions. Also, let me just see. So we're going to do this now. Take a few minutes. Think about your questions. I'm going to have a few sips. I'm going to light some sage. And if you've got any questions coming up, Ray?
Not yet, no.
Okay. All right. Because we're going to talk now. And some of you who are in my personal classes know a lot about this. And some of you who are taking the energy sessions, the ancestral healing energy sessions, will know all about this as well. and not necessarily all about this, but a large majority of this, because I've had this discussion with these people as we've done these sessions, because what I'm going to tell you now is the catalyst for the sessions. Okay, but the real catalyst for the sessions is what started when I became sick last year, poisoned, in my astrology chart, in multiple placements, as I told you. Multiple placements of poisonings in my astrology. Well, now it's the third Pluto return energy, right? And all the other placements in astrology, but particularly this month is January. It is Capricorn. Capricorn energy in the calendar year time, and it is Cancer full moon. Okay, the Cancer full moon. And then we have Mercury retrograde. Wild year, wild year. All of this, if you know anything about Cancer and you know anything about the moon is the mother, the moon is the subconscious soul, and the moon is your ancestral shit. Energy, meaning your ancestry, your energy that you carry within you, that is in your family line for lifetimes, okay, into the future and behind. It's kind of like the ultimate timeline. All right, this is an avenue of God for people to come in, or their soul energies to come here in Earth world and live in Earth world, or in this particular case, we're talking about Earth world. So we're going to stick here without going into other dimensions and other things. Different dimensions, different places, different things work differently with all that is God. However, the grand formula is always the same. It's all about love. And that said, it is this Cancer moon. It is this ancestral stuff. It is this Pluto stuff. It is the Neptune in Pisces. It is Neptune moving into Aries. Okay, has everything to do with my personal chart as well, both in my natal personal chart as well as my subconscious natal personal chart, my progress chart, and of course, always, this is why I call it God astrology. Right, everything that is in astrology is God, is you, is love. Okay, so everything that is astrology goes hand in hand with your reality and everything that you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly, as we would say in Earth world. So, but it is not the end all be all of you and who you are. With the power of God and free will, in any moment, at any time, you can change anything and you can do anything. That said, all these energies that are in the stars are the catalyst for great transformation and change, which is the second house, which we've been talking about all along, leading us to Taurus, the biggest, heaviest, darkest shit that weighs upon our souls in the now, in the moment, the natural governing ruler of the second house in traditional Western astrology is Taurus. Okay, that said, Taurus is the bull. If you think about it, God astrology, the bull is gigantic. It weighs heavy, and it weighs heavy on our hearts. It is the second house, the house of value, the house of worth. It is the first three of your most powerful personal houses. Okay, it is ruled by Venus. It brings great and beautiful things. It brings many things, but it is a fixed sign. So you're looking at stuff that has been fixed. All right, stuff that's fixed in your reality. So your ancestral shit, when you come in your family line, it is fixed, right? Unless you change that. All right, you have the ability to change everything that is you and your soul, and there are all these different layers of your soul. Fantastic, amazing shit. Just like there's infinite of all that is God. Just like when I teach here, this is one way to teach, ask and you shall receive, formula working with God, praying on your stuff, and what we do here is one way. There is multiple ways of everything that is God, and you feel what works for you. All right, because God is infinite. There's no right or wrong. There's different spaces of it. There's different ways to do it, and you feel what is the God's honest truth and what is best for you based on your soul and what feels good in the space of God that you are in that at any moment in the now. Okay, and this has everything to do with the now, meaning the transits in astrology, as well as everything that is in your natal chart. Okay, and it goes into past lives charts, it goes into your parents' charts, it goes into your children's charts. There's multiple ways to heal and do this work. That said, I'm laughing because it's just been a crazy road. As you all know, I'm going to bring it back to Earth World reality because everything that happens in Earth World brings us to these astrology placements and places that I'm talking about today. But before I go into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about my chart, because my fourth house is the house of family, as it is for all of us. It is ruled, the natural born ruler, or the natural governing planet of the fourth house is the moon. All right, the moon, it's your subconscious, it is your mother, it is your family, it is your ancestral stuff, it is also your home, your heart, your soul, okay, your true soul, okay. All right, and so this said, the fourth house, let me just see here, is traditionally governed by the moon. So the moon is always going to play a role in that. And so is the mother energy. However, in my particular chart in the fourth house, it starts with Aries. Guess who is Aries in my life? My mother is Aries in my life. My mother has been more of the father figure in my life, a challenging father figure truly in my life. All right, that's the Aries energy. That's the masculine energy. My mother has like 6 placements of Aries, so it makes sense that in my fourth house it's Aries. I too have this Aries energy, but it is not the same. It is unique to the individual, just like in every single one of us out here in Earth World. We have children, we have relatives, we have brothers, and we have sisters, and we understand them and we don't. We understand them and we see how they are like us, and we don't. We see how they are unique and different from us, right? This is all of what I'm talking about. So we are all uniquely different. So I'm telling you about this Aries energy because this has to do with not only the present day me that is Aries out here and my family and how I handle things, because it goes into Aries and then it goes into Pisces. All right. So where am I disillusioned? With my mother in the sign of Pisces and Aries, and with my family, my beliefs, and me, and with the Aries energy. Now, Aries is your masculine energy, all right? It is your warrior energy. It is your go-to energy. It is your powerhouse energy. It's the OG ruler of Scorpio. It is Mars, okay? Aries meaning Mars is the OG ruler of Scorpio. So you have some powerful energy. It's some of your most feared warrior type energy on the planet, but we have this energy for a reason. Just like all energy we have, healthy, we have the healthiest, best way. But it's in all different levels of all the different ways of everything that is God that is in our souls. And it's unique to us. But it will align in different areas, and it will tell me the truth in my chart, both in Earth World as well as in my subconscious. Okay, and in all the layers of my soul, that is what I call God astrology, or all the layers of our souls that can be explained or put into our reality through the formula of astrology and all that is God, really. Okay, because we use all tools, but as the underlying core of what we're talking about here, it's God astrology or astrology, and that's what we're talking about. So also the first house, the house of self, is naturally governed by Aries. It is this house of me. It is the house of the baby. Okay, everybody's first house has your rising sign, and then it goes into the first house. Your rising sign is this reality here. Okay, so my rising is Sagittarius rising. All right, makes me be more spiritual, makes me bohemian, doesn't always make me all these things, but it gives me the propensity to be these things. These are the things the Sagittarius rising energy and Sagittarius energies carries within it. Being open to higher knowing, learning, higher knowing of God, higher knowing spiritually, okay? Being a spiritual teacher, being a guru, being a healer, all these things come, all right, with this Sag energy, but it rides the Aries line. But if you think about it, Aries is the original ruler of the first house, which is the house of self. All right, but in my house, I have Sagittarius and then I have Capricorn. But all these things tell the story. All these placements in my astrology tell me the story of what's going on underneath in my health all across my chart. And this is why I'm explaining this to you. My mother is an Aries Taurus, okay? All right, she's a cusp baby. She is, I think she'll tell you she's an Aries, but she's an Aries Taurus. She's 50% of both. And we are born exactly to the day. The 19th of April she's born on, and I'm born on the 19th of October. So she is Aries Taurus. Is it Aries Taurus? And I am Libra Scorpio to the fucking day. You think that's an accident? Not at all. Not at all. This shows us opposite energies. Universe showing me the truth right there. Aries is the baby of the zodiac. I'm the baby of my mom, who's an Aries, right? My fourth house is Aries. So my fourth house is not only am I an Aries governor for my children and my family, I am an Aries governor. My mother was an Aries governor for me, right? She was the person who instilled the rules in my family. Make no mistake about it. You can't have 6 massive stellium in Aries, for Christ's sake, and not be in that zone. For the most part, it tends to lend itself, if you're not in a higher end spiritual space consciously, to some toxic shit and abusive and unwell stuff, right? But usually in these cases, it's because the person is not well. And in the case of my mother, she's sick, right? She's been sick for a while on and off. And this has been some of my challenges here in Earth World. This said, as many of you know, last August I got really, really sick, and my whole family became really sick, and we talked about that. And this whole time it's been working through these mysteries and getting all the information and all the things that I ask God for, because I ask God to be an incredible, super powerful healer and know the God's honest truth about everything and all that is God and all these magical things. I ask God to be closer to my family. I ask God to have a better relationship with my children. I ask God to be free from anything that was vampirish and sucking on me. I ask God for so many things that it kicked my ass out of my own home and made my whole family sick because this is what had to happen for the things that I asked God for to happen in Earth World. Heavy shit. This is when I talk about the North and South Node in Scorpio and Taurus. It's no joke. Heavy shit. Getting down to the deepest, darkest shit that most people sweep under the rug and cannot deal with because emotionally it crushes them. That's the bowl. Scorpio is the deepest, darkest shit you got going on in you, right? And when you're high-end metaphysical or God, right, or you're on that path and you've been here, things that work in Earth World, in health and everything else, doesn't work the same for you. You are unique. You are different. You've come to change this world. You are nothing like this world, not really, right? You are kind of navigating it, living in it, and it's been challenges all along, and your whole life tells you this. Has it not for all of you guys? So those of you who know what I'm talking about, it's like being the black sheep in your family. Everything's been a bitch, which I used to call, Nikki Opera knows this, a bitch cunt whore, right? You're just like, oh my God, right? It's a lot to deal with because you're not from this world. But you cannot be from this world if you are here to really change it. All right? So we're here to help move forward in this dimension in Earth World and to bring really great, incredible things in Earth World. All right, to Earth World, to make them happen, to do this work, okay? And so we can't be from this world if we're doing that. Just like Einstein says, what is the old world saying that I always like? Clear that out, please, God, and bring me that saying now, please. Insanity? Yes. The nature of insanity is doing the same stupid shit over and over and expecting a change, right? We can't be like what's going on in Earth World if we're here to change it. Can't happen. So this is all part of all the consciousness that we are and changing it. And this is all part of why my life is so wild and so bizarre and so bizarre. And most of you can relate to this or you wouldn't even be on the show, right? And all spiritual people and all of us go through these fascinating things and we're super connected, whether we realize it consciously or not. We have all these experiences that are designed for our greatest growth, our greatest understanding throughout this life and lifetimes to bring us to the highest level of God, to go to whatever dimensions we need to go through and go to and do the work that we came in here to do if we so choose, right? So this, going back to my own personal journey and becoming sick with my whole family and all of our journey, has led me, and we've gone through how many episodes or how many shows we've done in reference to all this, and as we gotten through different parts and pieces and wisdom and healing and all this work. And now tonight, I'm going to share with you some of the most incredible wisdom that they will never, ever, ever get for probably lifetimes here in Earth World medicine. All right, this is really big, heavy shit. And may they prove me wrong from love. Right? In the healthiest, God's honest truth, best way, from love. All right, because what I'm going to say is wild shit. So the truth is, what I discovered through this journey is my mother came to visit and we had some challenges, and this is a few weeks ago, and this was for the holiday. My mother's not well, and she's getting progressively more not well. Whether she realizes it or not, I do, and it's not to make anything bad or say my mother's bad. This is just the truth. And with her, she bought some really wild, crazy stuff that made me really think in Earthworld, what the hell is going on, right? She would ask me for things and then suddenly change her mind about these things. It was like it didn't even happen. And this happened a couple of different times. And then it was just really strange. So she's on a trajectory of, what I would call Alzheimer's or, dementia kind of thing. And I've known about this for a while because it's been coming in. And so that said, what happens is, and clear that out of me, God, anything that is unwell with any of this or all that is that energy. And let me have the best way to say this from love in the purest form, because I always want to honor my mother from love. That's the right thing to do in Earthworld and in Earthworld and in all that is God, okay, in the healthiest, best way. So thank you, God, for that for me and her. So my mother, I can see these deficits happening, and I know that it is because she is sick. It's not that she is getting old, okay? It is she is sick. And I've talked to my mother repeatedly in the past about going through this journey and this healing work. And I said, Mom, I can help you change all these things in the past because this is what I do. All the things that torment you internally and out here and in this world. And she just said to me, there's nothing wrong with me and I don't need your help. And this is years ago already. And I said, okay. And I've asked her a couple times all throughout my life. And I said, we can change this, Mom. And she got upset and said, there's nothing wrong with me. And I said, okay. I can only say it so many times and I let it go. But when my mom was here this past holiday, these were the things that were happening and some wild shit happened. And then all of a sudden during this time of this wild stuff happening, I felt my blood boiling. Like in my skin, right? When you are super sensitive, like we are, like empath, spiritual people, you can feel wild shit happening in your body. Same thing like when I became sick and I had that allergic reaction, autoimmune cytokine storm, and I'm in the hospital. I was getting visions of what was going to happen before it was happening, and I was like, "Fuck, clear that out of me now, please, God. Fuck, clear that out of me now, please," because I saw it coming. I knew it was coming, and I was like, "Holy shit." Right? But the same thing, I could feel, it was almost like there was blood coming out of my skin in little bubbles, and it was like boiling. Now, this isn't physically actually happening. It is happening metaphysically, but I can feel it in my physical body. It's like a tingling, and I'm like, holy shit. But I realize that I'm enraged. And I'm like, holy shit, where is this rage coming from? My mother did all these things and that were really toxic when she was here, but she wasn't really being accountable for anything. And I realized that I have all this rage, and I realize that this rage is in my blood. It's in my cells. It's in my bones. And then I'm like, what the fuck, God? I'm like, what is going on? And I realize that what is making me truly sick, right? And all that I am amongst all the other shit that I've cleared, worked on, done, gotten through in me, right? Over all these months that we've talked about, right? And then some, I realize that it's in my soul. It's in my cell. It's in my cells. It's in my bones, that this blood that's boiling is raging, and it is the darkness in me. It is my mother's darkness in me, and I can no longer, excuse me, are there tissues around? Can somebody grab me some tissues? My nose is running. Thank you. Excuse me. Oh, I need a number 5. All right, give me 1 second here, guys. Thanks for being patient. I'm having a problem counting these out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So, taking my number 5 cell salt for my runny nose as we're working through this and physical. Thank you, Sophia. Yeah. So, excuse me a minute as we get through this. So, I realize my blood is boiling, and that it's in my cells, it's in my bones, it's in everything that I am. And I realize that it's this darkness that has enraged me my whole life, that is in my mother, is in me, it's in my DNA, right? It's in everything that I am. This is why it's most of my sickness is on one side of my body and not on the other. But it's all throughout my body at different times. This is why it first started in like my crotch area, right? Not to get too graphic, right? And then it went to my knee and my finger, but all on my right side and in my bones. Right? So half of me, this is the darkness and the light in me. This is the very thing that we're fighting out here. The darkness and the light. So my mother's energy, this incredible darkness, is in my fucking DNA, in my cells, in my soul, in my physical body. It's in my physical body. And it is this darkness, as crazy as this sounds, that is making me sick. And it's all on my right side, which is my power side, my Aries side, my man side, my masculine energy. And it's also my mother, right? My mother's Aries, my mother's power. So universe shows you over and over what is going on. Right? And I'm sitting here and my mom has rheumatoid arthritis, right? And what I have is basically, according to the doctors, even though it's really the poisoning, but it manifests in this way of the family lineage and my personal stuff within that as well. Okay? Souls come in with lots of stuff, depending on the journey and the things that they come to do, right? But I realize that this rheumatoid arthritis, this is why I'm having the problem I'm having with my finger, right? Why my knee won't move, why my foot won't move, because the answer is in my mother. The answer is in her DNA. Her DNA is part of me, and that's in the family ancestry, in my fourth house, in my IC, my fourth house in astrology, and the answer is right there. And I'm like, holy shit. Holy shit. And then I'm like, well, how do I get rid of this fucking darkness that's going on in me, God? I'm like, because this has been a lifetime. See, what has happened is my mother is so contradictory and so toxic in her own mind and to her own self that is this very energy that is killing in me. It's killing me, right? In my physical body. And if I don't get rid of this energy, I'm going to die. Right? And I know this. And meanwhile, the medical community out here in Earthworld says, you just have autoimmune disease disorder. You have some kind of rheumatoid type disease disorder, autoimmune. And it has all these other symptoms, mixed connective tissue, sojourn syndrome, this syndrome, that syndrome, right? In the meantime, I know I'm fucking madly sick with mold toxin. And I said, so my whole family has this because we're all sick? Because you know that's not the truth. And they're like, because this is the shit we're going through right now in Earth World Medicine. All right. But bringing us back to here, they can't help me in that space. And they certainly will never get this metaphysical shit till they go here. Just like this medicine that I just used here, which is natural medicine that I've talked about on our show, right? Homeopathic medicine alternatives like energy work, like working with God, like vitamins, minerals, herbs, oils, cell salts, all different formulas of medicine that is natural medicine from the beginning of time. Why all of a sudden would this be the only medicine and the best medicine for you in Western world that they do out here in society? It wouldn't be. It's bullshit. Everything's fucking bullshit. Doesn't mean there isn't good things there and truth in there. There is. But you want to get to the bottom of what's making you sick, and you've seen me suffer this whole fucking time for almost a year and a half with what's been going on. Guess what? And I have been getting better, but it is slow. Everything in Capricorn's Earth world, when a Capricornian energy manifests in Earth world, in your physical sickness, it takes a long ass time for you to heal it, for you to get rid of those toxins, because it didn't happen overnight. And this is in the family ancestry, but without doing all this work, I couldn't get to any of the answers, and all the answers in the way that I can get to them by working with God. And until this medical world out here does this kind of work, it's fucked. It's fucked. And the people will never truly be well. That's why cancers and autoimmune diseases and disorders, and they're not even fucking diseases. They're symptoms of underlying unwellness in here that you got to get to the bottom with up here, which is what I've always been saying. Everything physical is metaphysical. And in all different ways. All different ways. Not just in the way you logically think in, let's say, Capricorn's earth world, or in your Virgonian earth world, or your Taurian earth world, or whatever sign you are. Truth be told. Okay? So, half my body, I got this shit in my DNA, and so my body is attacking itself. Autoimmune. The answers are in everything. In earth world, they call it autoimmune. Right? My body is attacking itself because I've been poisoned. Poisoned with darkness. Poisoned. It's in like I think it's like, how many stars? Like 17 or 29 stars, if not all fucking 29 of those fucking stars. It says, oh, you have a propensity to be poisoned. Great day. Great day. And you know what? My fucking father was poisoned, and I told you guys this already. He was septic, and that's what he died from. Because those jackasses in Earth World, they couldn't get to him before I did. In other words, meaning they got to him before I did, and I couldn't get there, but that was what his soul created so that I wouldn't be there. It was a bitch. It was a bitch. Because you know my shit, I'm going to go save him. It's my dad. You know, that's part of the human condition, you know, and especially in these metaphysically gifted magical spaces of the God space that we're in our souls and in all that we are. We have incredible ability to heal people. And that's what I would have done. I would have gone there and saved my father's ass. But universe did everything. His soul with God did everything to stop me. Because I don't get to choose when my father lives or dies and how he does it. Not really. You see? And so that's a story for another whole day. But bringing you back here to us, right? You can see how those placements are in my ancestry, my family lineage, right? And the rheumatoid arthritis, my mom, it's manifesting. And I can see all the symptoms my dad had in the DNA. All of our lives. Here is the physical healing in the DNA and earth world in the body that you come in here in your family, in your soul, in this reality. In your family ancestry. You don't heal that. You're fucked. Right? Yeah. You're screwed. You can only get better so many times. It's another laying of another layer of mad, incredible wisdom of all that is God, of the layers in our souls and how things truly work to get to the bottom of it so we can be what? Well, if I don't know the God's honest truth of how to get well, I can never get there in all ways. Thanks God for that for me, from love, and for all of us, from love. Incredible shit, right? So what do you think happens next? Right? I'm like, okay, God, if this is what's going on, how do I get rid of this? And Sophia, my daughter, goes, Mom, she's sitting next to me because I'm like wilding. And I'm like, how do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? And Sophia looks at me and she goes, remember Venom Spider-Man? And I go, yeah. And she goes, do you remember how he got out of that suit? And it was through the sound. The sound. And then she showed me, Sophia explained to me how he hit the rods. And then it was the church bells, right? And it's through energy sessions and energy work with sound, as well as the energy work itself, metaphysical, all that is God, right? Is how we get to these spaces of healing this. So, universe says to me, I said, okay, God, so Sophia, my daughter, this came in through her because I was like, fuck, how do I do this? But it makes so much sense. I've been doing energy sessions with sound and music and all this. And this is why we all love music, because sound is fucking healing. Everything is healing. If you know, right? If you have the what? The formula, the ability, the gifts to what? The wisdom to do it. Get it. So, universe said to me, 8 sessions of doing mad energy work. And that's how those sessions came on Sunday nights, because it's really about healing me, because I've been in such incredible pain. I would not want that for anybody. And this is also why I do this work. It isn't just about physical pain. It's about emotional pain, because the reason I am physically in massive pain is because emotionally it's too painful for me to feel it and get it out, and too debilitating inside of my soul to release my emotions. So I bury those things, those energies in my body, right? Wild shit, right? So it's where they say that old saying, which we've talked about, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. What bullshit that is. Right? So because you fat, when you were a kid, you were like, oh, I'm fat, because you believed that you were fat, whether you were fat or not. But boy, it hurt you emotionally, right? Or you're an asshole, or you're a whore, or you're fucking stupid, right? Yeah, heavy shit. So emotionally, my soul's like, no, I'm not going to feel that today. So we'll put it over here. Well, at some point in your life, that energy has to come out. It can't stay in there. It's toxic. So this is all the layers, all parts of the layers of this story, but it gets even better. Because you ready for this? Because this is high-end soul shit for everybody. Because stuff like this is really unique and incredible. What I'm going to say is I'm like, okay, so we start doing the energy sessions. And I'm like, well, what happens is I realized, I said, this is ancestral healing that we're doing. I realize it has to do with all that has to do with the stars, because I'm always talking to God. I'm always working on my stuff. We know what we have to do. We do these 2 sessions. And I'm sitting on the couch at 10:30 at night in the main building with Rachel. And I don't know, were you there, Soph?
I don't know.
But Jennifer was there, and the 3 of us, I think it was, were sitting there. And I have a revelation. I'm like, why, God, why? And I realized that, my mother's energy is constantly contradicting and constantly bashing me. And I realized from my childhood, during this whole endeavor and all this learning that I've been going through in Earthworld, because Earthworld is your greatest teacher. We physically live it to get it. That's why pain is a great teacher. It's a fucker in our physical human bodies for sure, and mentally, emotionally as well. That's why people become addicts, because they can't deal with the pain. But my soul opted for this. Great day. But that's what makes us unique and individual. And there was a time when I was all into drugs for the very same reasons, that I didn't want to deal with the pain. Right? Whether I realize it or not, that's the truth. It's the truth. So I just morphed it into something else in the magic of all that I am, right? So that I didn't have to deal with it within my soul. And this is how we deal with it in Earthworld until this point, where the suffering becomes too great, and I prayed on all my shit, and I'm constantly asking God for the answers always. What's the truth of this, God? Why is this happening? I don't understand this. I want to know this, and this is why I'm sitting here now with the answers. Same gifts you guys have, all of us. And so what happens is I realize that this dark energy that's in me is fighting the light in me. And, Molly might have been there, and Molly said to me, she did like a little card reading, and we were talking about it, and she said, funny, your dad comes in. And then I realized that my dad was the light and my mother was the dark. And it was really that my dad, right, my mother meeting my dad is the savior of my mother. Okay? Crazy shit. It's part of the grand plan and design to get rid of the darkness in her by meeting my father. Because we're like, we know my dad's all around here. We know my dad's part of my guides. We know my dad's here. Rachel's always telling me, other people are always telling me, I see him, I talk to him, so we know he's there. And he's there and he's here a lot. And he works with me all the time. So I know that in this way of thinking. But I didn't think of it in the way that they said that me and Molly sat down when Molly pulled the card and said, your dad is here and he's around and has something to do with this. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then it came in. That, again, it's the DNA stuff. My mother chose my father to heal her shit. It's part of the destiny. And what happened? Then they made a baby, and that was me. And that was my sister and my brother. Right? And we're all part of that same family energy. And I realized in this time frame, as this boiling blood and all of this, that if I don't get rid of this energy in me, I'm going to die. And so I must do these sound healing sessions. And then I get up and I go to the bathroom and I come back out and I realize that in this energy that is going on, that I'm going to be releasing from me. I'm going to be releasing it in the whole entire family energy of the ancestry of my whole entire family. So I realized this work is going to heal me, and that's why I invited everybody to do it, because I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm done with being motherfucking sick. I'm wild. Well, that's an Aries energy too. It can be a good thing, right? Because it's the ability to persevere through some incredible darkness, right? So this is why I decided to do the energy sessions, because they were really about me first. And then I invited everybody else to them. I said to my family, don't you miss this. I said, because this is going to heal this shit in you. It's going to heal it in me. It's going to go back in time and heal everybody from the past and everybody into the future in our family lineage. And this is part of the work my soul chose to do when it came in here for the planet, right? For the planet, because we have to have new souls coming in that are higher consciousness of God, who can't come in to everybody whose family got shotted or whatever you call that, lizard serumed, okay? They can't come in through that avenue. They have to come in as higher beings to help go and change the world in the new world from love. They can't come in those ancestry family lines that birth babies into families in this reality. Crazy shit. So my soul and my mom and my dad and all of us have chosen to be part of this and part of our work as our soul's destiny and our soul's journey to change this planet. And I'm like, wow, that's heavy shit. So if you were asked to do this or you feel called to do this, guess what? Welcome. Welcome to this space of God, because this is like crazy, incredible, amazing, like you are. All this happens, and I realize that my mom loves me, and I start bawling my eyes out, and I realize that if I heal me, my mom's going to die. My mom is going to die. And I realize this, and I'm bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, holy shit, I love my mother so much, and I do. And my whole life has been a fucking storm of really rough, dark, toxic shit that my mother, who loves me so much, went through all of this so that I could get to this space of God. And here I am thinking the whole time, oh, it's my suffering, it's my bitch mother, it's all this bad shit. When really, I signed on for this to get to this space of God because there was no fucking other way to get me here. And we signed on for this karmically. We signed on for this. My whole life has been about her bashing me. When I was a kid and I was this big, I remember praying, basically, and saying, and making a soul pact agreement that I will never be like her. Never will I be that darkness. Never will I be like that with my children. Well, guess what happened when I did that? That energy had to go somewhere. So my soul suppressed this energy in my physical fucking body. And that's what's making me sick and killing me now. So inside of my body is this battle of dark and light with this energy. With this dark energy. Wild shit. Incredible stuff. So I realize, like I said, more proof in Earth World. There it is. When I'm a kid and that happens and we make these soul pacts with ourselves. This is the kind of shit that happens. This is the kind of shit that happens. And I realize that I love my mother so much. And my mother did this for me. And it really took me a few days to wrap my head around it. And I've been crying about it ever since. On and off. Because I realized my mom's going to die. And that she can't do this work. Because like I said, this is not for the faint of heart. This is big shit. This is lifetimes of darkness in us. So painful. So hard. So rough. And I got tons of more stories I could back it up with. But for the sake of time, I'm going to continue from here on. And I realize that my mother's going to die. And it's basically I have to make a choice between myself and my mother. And it has to be me. And I realize how much I love my mother. And that this is the karmic agreement that we have. That's why my mother met my father. This is why part of a huge chunk of why I was born. This is the karmic agreements. My agreement is to free my mother from this darkness in this lifetime and to wipe this completely out of her so that she can move on and be free of the horrible life that I see, that she can't see, that she has truly had. Toxic as all fucking hell. Pain and suffering. I lived through it. Whether she can see it or not, I can see it. But this is the pact that we had. That I have to do this work to heal me. And in turn, it heals the whole family lineage and her. But she was given by universe every opportunity to say, hey, I want to do this work. And really hasn't been able to do it. And it's okay. But this was the agreement that we had if she could not do it. And I realize that she gave me the greatest gift to get to this space of God. How incredible. And I am giving her this gift, the freedom of being free of all that darkness and mental illness and fucking toxic that is rolling around in her soul for lifetimes. Heavy, heavy shit. So as I do this work, I realize that this is going to happen. And it's only like a 1% to 2% that she'll come out of it and she'll be healthy. And I've prayed for all these things, but I've given it to God. And I said, God, do what's best here from love for all of us. But what incredible stuff. Without me knowing this, I can't be well. I can't be well. Do you see? I can't get rid of all of these things until I remove that darkness in me. And this is the agreement I have with God, with universe, as part of my soul journeys and agreements. Because people go, oh, it's just what is your soul agreement? Or what is your journey here in Earth World? My journey is multiple. The more advanced the soul, the more things you do, the more you understand, the more you get, the more magic you have, the more things you come in here to do in the world, right? Yeah. So think about that, guys. That's some pretty crazy, heavy shit. And the truth is, I've had an awful life with my mom. That's the truth. And I love her. I love her. She's my mother. And somewhere in there, she has, and I know it, the most incredible heart. And it's so beautiful. But she is so dark for herself. From lifetimes. So I want to share that with you so you can get a scope on how this shit works. Another broader scope, understanding of all the layers of God in our souls and how this wild, incredible, amazing stuff that is all that is God, that is love, works. And, I'm still wrapping my head around it. But I want to share this with you guys because it really is an incredible, incredible story. It's a love story between my mother, my father, and me. And it is also between my children and all the world and all that is God. Crazy stuff. So, in my emotional Capricorn space, I'm going to pull myself together. And it is all in alignment with the stars and in the transits and in my astrology. And I could pull it apart for hours and explain it all to you, both in Earth World and in the astrology, but I gave you the best scope given universe, guided by universe, to speak through me, to share with you tonight, so you can get the best understanding of what this is, right? And this heals my children and saves my children from this incredible darkness, as well as my mother and everybody. So when my mother comes in, she will be free of this darkness. Anytime she wants to go into whatever dimension she's in, she's free. And my mother freed me from this darkness here in Earth World. How? I got God. Truly. So, that said, what time is it, Rachel? I'm sure we're over. Are we?
9 o'clock.
I knew it was 9 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for coming. If you have any questions in reference to this, because this is crazy shit. And if you do have a crazy meaning, incredible. And this is why, everything physical is metaphysical, and it's not always in the way we think. And this is why working with God and doing this work is so important for our health in all ways. Because everything is everything that is in here, is here and here. And this is where the new world is going, and it is a balance of our health in the realities that we are in. But the governing factor, depending on the level, or the level meaning the vibration of the energy and the journey and the choices of the soul, and so many different factors of all that is God, all these things are the keys and the pieces to your incredible best wellness. And we are on this path, and already I can tell you I'm doing incredibly better, and we've only done 2 of these sessions. But again, I'm working with all my Earth World tools, everything from Chinese medicine. And you know what, Chopani? Excuse me, as my nose is still running. That's because I was crying.
Everyone's saying thank you for sharing.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys too for being here, being part of this and listening. And may this help you in your healing journeys forever as well. And all your guidance and in all your wisdom from love. But I was going to tell you, it's wild because I went back to really incorporating deep down Chinese herbs and Chinese medicine along with the energy work. And that makes so much sense because what do? Energy. I do energy. I balance the energy in my soul and in my body and in my psyche and in my heart and in all that I am, and then I am well. Incredible stuff. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. It was really fascinating. It's been an experience for me. 2023, what a fucking bear of a year. Incredible things will be happening, such as this. And there's always beautiful and amazing things in all that is God. And God always, or love always, rewards us and brings us great things, no matter how incredibly painful or difficult or whatever it is we have to go through. All right. And it's all based on free will and our connection to all that is love and working on our stuff. So remember that, and working with love all the time as much as possible. The more you work with love, talk to God, create what you want in your reality, the more you're going to naturally keep getting higher and higher in your elevation, in your soul, and in wisdom, and excuse me, and enlightenment. Thanks for coming, everybody. I'll see you next week, 7:15. Who knows what's going to happen next week, but many blessings. Thanks so much. Love you guys.